nothing special, right? Like, we're two nerds who talk about Star Wars, and that's
in a closet.
In a closet. Like, quite literally a closet. But
all of our awesome, amazing fans came pouring in. It was kind of overwhelming, I think, for the two of us. And
right?
Really, like,
the vibe of the audience was they kind of didn't know what to expect when we started, and just to be able to play the games and have our great guests, those great interviews like O Katrina was amazing, Kif VandenHeuvel, Alex Rubens, Ash Crossan came and introduced us. Like,
I've never felt the way I felt after that show.
Seeing you guys there, smiling, laughing, getting sweaty, really cheering us on, it makes this dumb little thing feel worth it.
Yeah.
So we're still on a high from it.
We really are. Like, we really can't believe it. It just was...
It was amazing.
Not so long ago, in a galaxy not affiliated with Lucasfilm or the Walt Disney Company, it's the Black Series Rebels! Please welcome Steve and Alex!
Oh my gosh. This is just as cramped as it is in our closet in
Yeah,
Chatsworth.
guys.
What's going on, guys? I'm Alex.
And I'm Steve.
And this is Black Series Rebels live from a shop called Quest in downtown Los Angeles. Should we stumble through an intro like we normally would on set? So, like, should we do like a hokey pin pitch and like a bad?
I don't know, guys. You know how long it takes us to do our intros?
Oh my gosh.
That's a lot of information to get out.
You guys are doing great.
Oh, thanks, George.
Thanks, George.
So George Lucas had some free time, so he came down.
My microphone isn't on, but you get
no,
there it is.
There it is.
It's back on now.
You gotta really hug it, George. Yeah.
I think
you gotta really
your
hug
mustache
it.
is getting in the way there, Georgie.
No, it never gets in the way. That's my co-writer.
We figured if we were gonna, what was that?
My co-writer is my mustache.
Oh yeah.
We write
you guys
together.
don't know it. His mustache wrote Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Yeah. His mustache.
Which is why it was the best one.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a.
Is your mustache's name Dexter Jester?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? Oh, I have some fans in the house of Dexter
What?
Jester.
Too soon?
So we're going to be talking about Star Wars. We're going to be doing a lot of like nerdy, sweaty stuff. Thank you guys so much for coming out and sweating with us. We normally film this in a closet in Chatsworth, so that's not a joke. It actually is a closet in Chatsworth.
Quite literally.
We shoot it on a wide angle. It's all camera tricks.
Yeah, they do it all. They do it all in
camera
post. It all happens in post.
It's all in post. Yeah. That's
All right,
we
George.
brought it.
My favorite.
All right, George.
All right, George. All right. Settle down, Georgie.
It's all right, George. These guys are like, I got my pin. Can I get out of here now? They're like, oh boy.
You're stuck.
So we've got a bunch of great guests tonight. We're going to be talking about Star Wars and all different types of fandom. We're going to be playing some games, doing some giveaways. We're going to be talking more about pins. But first, we just wanted to thank you guys. Give yourselves a round of applause for coming out. Our first guest of the evening is actually the first guest we ever interviewed. He is from Key and Peele, Rick and Morty, and he is now writing for the Twilight Zone. Give it up for Alex Rubens! Does it work? We did it. We did it.
Hey, buddy.
You're a writer.
Yes.
This for being the worst interviewer in the world, this might be a terrible question, but how much does Star Wars impact you as wanting to get into writing?
I think it's probably like the reason I originally got into. I mean, like when as a little kid, I just wanted to make Star Wars, and I wasn't a director, so I just like wrote. I wrote Star Wars Episode 7 back in 1984.
Can I see it?
Yeah, I'll get it. It's on my yeah.
Oh.
Luke fights Salacious Crumb mainly. I was a small child. It was not a good, but
Hell yes.
Does that sound like a good idea?
Yeah. Let's talk.
Yeah,
Let's talk.
Canonically, you never do see Salacious Crumb die, so I mean,
Never
he's
see it.
probably still out there. He got off that ship, I'm pretty sure, the barge.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you see him jump up, and he does the like swing. He
he can
jumps up and
jump.
goes. He's like swinging, right? Like They don't.
Yeah.
You don't establish that shot if he didn't make it out.
Yeah, clearly that was intended to establish that Salacious
There's more
Crumb
to it.
could definitely escape.
Like
Yeah.
in modern Star Wars world, right? Like if let's say that happened, there would be 9,000 think pieces about what happened with Salacious
Right,
Crumb.
right.
You'd get like the picture of Salacious Crumb swing with the little red circle like around his hand.
Yeah.
Can I tell you a secret?
Yeah.
It's Snoke.
Salacious Crumb is Snoke! It makes
great.
so much sense. It
You're
all
welcome.
checks out. It all checks out. Yeah.
Your
but
Snoke
yeah, and then
theory sucks, George.
So, if you guys don't know Alex Rubens, we like to think that when we brought people in to start talking about Star Wars, we thought we were fans and we thought we understood Star Wars.
they weren't. They didn't.
No, we didn't.
No,
we
what?
needed Alex Rubens to explain it to us. We talked a lot about the idea of balance and things like that, but because we're in a comic book shop, we wanted to talk to you a little bit about your love of comic books and the Star Wars comics.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you set me up for failure. I'm not that much of a, I don't know. But yeah, I know everything about Star Wars, and you guys are idiots.
Sounds like Twitter.
Yeah, sounds like the internet.
That's why I left Twitter.
What if this whole show was just like Twitter engagements? It was
yeah,
just like,
that's what
idiot!
Yeah.
No! Last Jedi was awesome!
Yeah.
It sucked! We just like choose all the sides.
Ruined Star Wars.
Yeah. I as it happens, I've been really enjoying the latest Marvel Star Wars
Yeah.
comics. I don't know if anybody's been reading them.
Is
but I've
anybody
been-
reading those?
Some of them are really good.
Yeah.
Have you heard this guy Charles Soule? Am I saying his name right? Soule. I'm just gonna keep saying it.
That's
until-
correct.
until
That's
I get-
correct.
Yeah, you're correct.
That's correct. It's great. It says Darth Vader. You know, when I think the first time I was on your show, one of the questions you guys asked was like, what was it? It was like, what's the worst job you could possibly have in the
Yes.
Star Wars universe? And I didn't answer like what I thought was necessarily the worst. I tried to find a funny answer, and I was, can I curse?
Yeah.
Do whatever you
I
want,
was
bud.
like, that fucking Jedi librarian. Who cares? Like, why would you like be a fuck? And Charles Soule made her cool.
Yeah.
How did he do that? He made her cool.
What makes a cool Jedi librarian?
Well, well, first of all, you realize like she can fight, and I always like the specialization of the Jedi. You know, speaking of which, and another Charles Soule thing I just read, it was either the most recent or the second most recent Darth Vader one, and there's this moment where one of the Inquisitors, who used to be a Jedi,
Sure.
or at least was training to be a
You
Jedi.
say so, bud. George?
Yeah, yeah. Is that
George?
right? Was she?
Yeah,
Thanks,
you're
George.
10 out of 10.
Okay, great,
You're
great.
you're batting 1,000.
But she's like, oh yeah, my specialty was like, she was like an empath. She can read people, you know, and understand. And she says something about how she's like Darth Vader. She's a little full of contempt of him so far because I think he hasn't established himself completely to everybody. And she's like,
There's a
that
point
guy,
in Star Wars where Darth Vader hasn't established
yeah, well, people
himself?
don't know who he is. There's
Oh.
I think the most recent episode, the Emperor's like, okay, everybody, just to be clear,
This
or he's like,
guy's
just
cool.
to be clear.
Yeah.
That's a terrible. But he doesn't say this guy's cool. He's like, what he says is an order from me.
Yeah.
Basically. But this Inquisitor is like, I think she sort of says that under her breath as he's leaving, but she's like, here's a guy who was dying to fight and dying to die, is I think the line. And I was like, oh, that's a cool insight into Darth Vader, that he, you know, because he is conflicted. And also another thing that's so cool in those new comics is occasionally you see him like meditating and you see his like force being. And I didn't even notice this because I'm an idiot, but Heather Ann Campbell, who I think has a new Star Wars podcast, that maybe you guys can
Don't listen to
fight.
that one.
Yeah.
We need the clicks.
But she pointed out he below where his arms and legs were severed is just like white, like in the astral plane or whatever it is.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it's like, all right, because that no longer is part of his life force, you know? He doesn't have, and I was like, oh, that's a cool little detail.
Do you think that's a good thing? Like, do we feel like with all the Star Wars content we're getting now, like, we're learning more about it, but do you think there's a little bit of us that kind of still want some mystery? Like, I don't know if I've ever asked the question, when Darth Vader's a Force ghost, is he all white, or do you see his robot legs? Like,
I agree, but I part of what I like about what they're doing in the comics is that I don't think they're answering, they're not like filling in gaps, they're opening new questions.
yeah.
So for the most part, it just sort of sets up this stuff where you're like, oh wow, I've never seen like Darth Vader's astral plane, you know, which doesn't then say, okay, now I know what that is. It's almost more like the establishment of a new question. right? But anyway, I like it. I like the comics. Anyway, thanks everybody.
What if that's really all this was like 6 minutes with each person? You all bought pins, suckers! Like, we're not really a podcast. We don't even like Star Wars.
It's true.
It's true.
I hate it.
No, but it's a deepening. I recommend these. I got on this Sewell kick, and I started reading some of his other stuff. And there's the Obi-Wan and Anakin stuff, which I didn't read because I have a bit of an anti-prequel bias, and this
That's
is
okay.
like Clone War era.
We're in a safe place.
But then I realized I was wrong.
Not
I
there.
realized I was wrong.
Yeah.
Just sort of like how Darth Vader turns back, and in the end.
He what?
Oh, you haven't seen?
No,
it?
I haven't seen it.
George hasn't seen the original trilogy anymore. That's the weird Seeger, right? Is he made the prequels.
I wrote the word Ewok on a piece of paper, crumpled it up, threw it through a window at Lucasfilm, and then just drove away.
Oh wow. Oh, I mean, it turned out okay.
Yeah,
given that.
apparently, I can't stop spending money, so I guess.
Yeah. No, it's great. And it's always establishing new questions. Like that's how I felt about The Last Jedi too. That I felt like it sort of enriched some questions rather than just answering them.
Well, you've had some time to sit on Last Jedi as
I
well,
love
because
it.
we interviewed you after seeing it, and
Yeah.
I think we were all in the normal morning
you
phase of Last Jedi. We were like, did we like this movie?
Yeah.
We were all kind of like floating.
Well, yeah. Well, my experience, and I've talked to a bunch of people who feel this way, is that like the first time I saw it, I was, to be completely honest, after the credits went up, and I was kind of like, but then I watched it again immediately the same night,
With
and then
us.
and then saw it twice the next day, and then I love it. I think it's great. But it does stuff like it takes assumptions you have about the story, breaks them down, but then leaves in their place something that still works and is still true to the original. And I felt like that about some of the comics too. Obi-Wan and Anakin, like there's just like some details about what the dark side even is. Like Palpatine is when you see him trying to convert Anakin, he makes some good points. He's just using them like. Hitler's made some pretty good points.
Just how
We're already off the rails.
No. But he presents it to Anakin like, oh, it's such a shame that can't just like fix things, and the Jedi are always like trying to do things procedurally and do it right.
Yeah.
And like he kind of has a point. It's just insincere in order to manipulate
You're
Anakin.
killing it with George Lucas now, by the way.
This is just how I drew it up.
Yeah,
You,
okay, great.
you got it 100%.
Great, yeah.
Even the Hitler thing, you
Yeah.
nailed it.
Yeah. But yeah, in Obi-Wan and Anakin, there's this moment when like Anakin and Obi-Wan are fighting these just monsters. And Obi-Wan even says like they barely have brains. But then Obi-Wan's deal is like, but they don't know what they're doing, and he just like calms them down. And Anakin tries to do that, and he's like, and he just like kills them all. And it's not a moment of him being evil, and it's actually an understandable moment. You're like, oh yeah, if I'm like trying to fiddle with like my non-gun, my like calm the animals machine, and it's not working, I'd probably go for the gun,
Yeah.
But that's the thing, like that's Anakin's failing, right? That he always wants to go for the easy, he's like, let's just fix this, let's just solve this, instead of like taking a broader view.
Us screenwriters like to call that foreshadowing.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. But it's also deepening in both directions, because it's like Snoke in The Last Jedi. I got so excited when I watched it the fourth time and realized that like Snoke is just this like really, really strong dummy, basically. I think he's not that smart. He's got incredible force skills and can see into everybody's brain, so effectively he's smart. But his whole thing, like you watch it again, it's almost like a Western where he's like, oh, Luke Skywalker killed Darth Vader and the Emperor. I'm gonna go kill him. And he just like because he's the most powerful. We see him like blasting people around. He can do anything he wants physically. He's just like, I will go defeat that one, and then I will be the strongest. That's my understanding of Snoke, and that's why you can kill him
That's
literally from the side.
That's canon. Yeah.
He's like, "Arr!" And then you're like,
Oh, I got distracted.
yeah.
That's Snoke's greatest downfall. It's
Yeah.
just distraction.
Yeah.
He's constantly distracted.
If you guys ever are fighting a Sith Lord
That's
or
all-
any kind of dark side user, see if you can come at him from the side, because
Yeah.
I think that's the weak point.
It's the sweep the leg in Star Wars.
Yeah, it's sweep the leg.
It's the
yeah.
sweep the leg. It's
yeah.
like
Although sweep the leg is a dark side move. I mean,
Yeah.
I think we can all agree about that,
that
right?
was a
Or
cut
like-
scene.
Yeah.
George, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, there is no shame in this Death Star.
Yeah. There was a brief moment where Palpatine yelled to Vader, "Sweep the leg." And Vader was like, he looked at all the other stormtroopers
Yeah.
like, I don't know if I
Yeah.
can do this. And he's like, yeah!
Yeah, that's
We
why
actually-
Johnny
we
Johnny
actually-
turns at the end of the Karate
Yeah,
Kid.
Oh,
doesn't
yeah,
he?
Cobra Kylo Ren wasn't even going to be in there.
Everybody give it up for
Alex
Rubens! All right, well, since you guys are here, who wants to play a game? So before we get started on this game, so that everyone can see it, here, George, this is your favorite character, right? Here you go, George.
All right.
This is O Bibble.
Mm-hmm.
You guys know who O Bibble is?
Yes.
We're going to play a little video so you guys can find out who O Bibble is, and then we will explain the game.
Communications disruption can mean only one thing: invasion. Negotiation. We've lost all communications. And where are the Chancellor's ambassador? Your negotiations seem to have failed, Ambassador. They wouldn't dare.
The death toll is catastrophic. We must bow to their wishes. You must contact me.
This invasion will gain you nothing. We're a democracy. The people are deciding.
It's unthinkable.
That is O Bibbles, everybody.
Sio
So-
Bibs.
Let's play a game. Who wants to play? What would O Bibble say?
Anybody?
Who wants to play? We have great prizes. Great. Let's go right back here. Right back here. Come on up, bud. Yeah, come on up. Give him a round of applause.
Come get sweaty, buddy. Sio Bibs.
O Bibs.
Sio
O Bibs. Oh, yeah, we're going to get
What
you
up,
started.
Sio Bibs?
Give you this. Awesome. So we're going to ask you some multiple choice questions. And if you get these right, you're going to win a exclusive to this live show prize.
You probably picked the wrong person.
Okay, and you're going to be okay. I have,
All right,
I have
let's
a
go.
feeling you're going to be okay. So you saw the video.
I saw the
you
video.
know what O Bibble says,
Yeah.
okay? These are very tough. Okay, so what would O Bibble say if the internet went out in his apartment in North Hollywood? A, darn it, I better call Time Warner. B, oh no, I should restart my modem. Or C, a communication disruption can mean only one thing: invasion.
I choose C.
Oh!
We have a winner.
Did he get it right, George?
All right.
George, you got it right. Okay.
All right.
One more time.
You got to get
It's
one more.
unthinkable.
Thank you, George. Thank you. Thank you, George. Thank you, George.
Unthinkable.
Great. So, question number 2. There's only 3 of these. They get harder. They get way harder. What would O Bibble say if he was getting ghosted by a girl on Bumble? Sio has way too much class for Tinder. A, she probably has a boyfriend. Ugh, why do I have such trouble with the ladies?
That's probably it.
B, it's all good. I know tons of Gungans who are DTF. Or C, a communication disruption can mean only one thing: invasion.
Oh, it's definitely C.
Okay, you got it.
Yeah.
It's unthinkable.
One more, buddy.
You have
You
to
got
get
one
one more
more.
right.
That was
This
tough.
last one is a doozy.
Every Gungan I wrote, all just down to get it.
That's the thing. Dungans are totally DTF.
tweet your fan art to @Black Series Rebels.
That's
Please,
actually, we're just
please.
requesting fan art. If you guys
Yeah.
have Gungan ship art,
Yeah.
hit us with it. Great. So the last question, okay? What would O Bibbles' mom, Sally Bibbles, say if Sio didn't call her on her birthday? A, a communication disruption can mean only one thing: invasion. B, you must contact me. Or C, it's unthinkable. Or D, all of the above.
That's a tough one.
Well, the pattern was C, but I think I'm going to go with D.
Yeah!
Winner!
What do we got?
What do we got, George?
George!
Hey, George, what do we got?
What do we
Yes.
got for him? It's right back there.
Oh, is this it?
Here, hand us O Bibble's head.
Oh, yeah, here.
But
Oh,
that's
yeah,
not what
you
he
got it.
won.
Oh, good. Thank you so much.
Hey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
this.
There you go.
You come to our live shows, you play games, you get a limited edition Scum deck.
Awesome.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Give him a round of applause. Thank you. I'll take that mic from you. I'll take that mic.
Bibble.
Love
Shut
Sio
up.
Bibbs. You guys don't know this, but Steve was in Europe when we built our website, and he
True.
didn't send me the answers to his little, like, I want to get to know Steve questionnaire. So I just put anything O Bibble as his like answer, and he didn't notice it for like 3 months. He was like, "Hey, I never answered those questions." And then he went to the website. It's like, "Who's your favorite character?" O Bibble. Favorite action figure? O Bibble. What action figure would you not want to buy? Anyone that's not O Bibble. Steve loves O Bibble.
It's true, I do now.
What's up? Dude, we have a O Bibble. It's right there. We wanted people to think that this was the prize. So everyone would be like, I'm not playing the O Bibble game. That's the last thing I want. This was $2 on Amazon.
Prime.
Comes with, should we do a pin of O Bibble? O Bibble with blaster pistol. Why does he come with a gun? All he does is talk about communications. He never does he ever blast? Does he ever shoot a gun? Sweaties? He's way too chill for that.
But he comes with a comm chip.
Dude, I wish we had the chip, because I bet I know what it says.
It's unthinkable.
Yeah. Wait, let's pretend. Okay, it's 1999.
I'm there.
Okay. George, it's 1999. We've just opened up. Oh, I'm not going to open it because it's still minty fresh in the box.
Yeah.
We
Here,
open
I'll
it up.
open it.
Please don't do that to me. We take our comm chip. We put it on. We haven't seen the Phantom Menace yet. Okay. We place it on the thing.
Oh, you sweet summer child.
We put it on. And we put it on the comm chick reader, and it says,
It's unthinkable.
"Oh!" And you're like, "What does this mean? What do you think O Bibble does? Is he the new? He's got to be the new Obi-Wan Kenobi."
Oh my God, he is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh my gosh.
It's unthinkable.
What could
It's
be unthinkable?
unthinkable.
It's probably Darth
It's
Maul.
I bet he has an orange lightsaber.
Oh, this comm chick is
It's
broken. The
unthinkable.
comm chip is broken. Oh. All right, we have a second wonderful guest.
Yes,
This is
we
another one
do.
of our wonderful friends from the Twitter sphere. We actually haven't had her on the show yet, so this is going to be a more fun, traditional interview for us. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call her by her Twitter handle because I just like saying it. Give it up for Katrina!
Oh,
Hi.
How are you?
it works. How are you?
It does work.
How are you? You good?
I'm great.
Thank you for making the trek up here.
Thank you for having me out here.
Everybody, this is Katrina Dennis. She has written for StarWars.com.
SyFy, the
SyFy.
Wrap, some other places. Hopefully you've read.
All actual news sources, not the Black Series Rebels.
I have no idea how we got her here.
Round of applause.
So, Katrina, we like to start off all of our interviews with the same question.
Oh, really?
When was the first time Star Wars entered your life?
The same time the Man Show entered my life, unfortunately.
I feel very old now, and I'm just going to walk away.
I saw it on TV for the first time, and I watched all three. I was a very youngling, and I watched all three, and I was so excited by it. And Return of the Jedi closed out, and everyone was having their Ewok party, and then Juggy came on TV, and I was like, "Oh, I'm 8." So that's about what.
Juggies were the trampoline girls on the
Yeah,
Man
I think
Show?
they were. Yeah.
I don't remember. My mom's here. I've never seen the Man
Uh-huh.
Show.
So
I've
5
seen
whole
the
minutes
Man
of it,
Show.
and that's how I grew up. So.
So, were you like instantly in love with Star Wars?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The main trio was it for me. They felt like the encompassing nature of childhood in a way, where we're all kind of that farm boy. We're all Luke. We're all wishing and making like pew pew sounds with our little model ships.
Were you a collector? Did you have toys? Oh,
I actually have that O Bibble.
Yeah, you do.
I have that.
Is it
that was
Sio?
Like, I think it's Sio.
Oh
No,
my
it's
God.
Sio
I'm
Bibble?
saying it's Sio.
I
Okay.
hope it's Sio. I hope we just ruined our live show.
In Latin America, it's
It's
Sio Bibble.
Yes.
And
it's
Obviously,
correct.
Where I
there's
come
all
from.
kinds of different pronunciations of
Sio.
Sio and
We
Sio.
made 2 nearly identical versions of the film, and that was the only change.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It cost $300 million extra, but it was worth it.
The
Was it
people
worth
of Chile,
everything?
thank you.
So you were a collector, so you had figs as a kid.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
many. Well, there was like a period during the Phantom Menace. I either had those or the Pepsi cans that came out.
You played with the Pepsi cans.
I was very poor, and so I collected all the Pepsi cans, and like there was much burping, and then eventually I got to like have the Pepsi cans. And
I had that
Make Anakin talk
the
to
young
you.
Obi-Wan on the Mountain Dew can, and I just thought that was the raddest.
Yep. Those and then the KFC, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut toys.
Oh, I've got a huge bin full of that. We call it my tub of shame.
Yeah. Steve has a shame bucket that's just like, check it out. My buddy I went to high school with worked at KFC.
No, buddy. He managed KFC. Was a high school student and wore a Palm Pilot. But I thank him every day for that tub of shame.
Only a kid who had a Palm Pilot in high school could manage a KFC.
But guys, not only like I have all of them, but I also have them all sealed as well. Like I've got one to rock, one to stock, and one just cause.
You gotta have your passed down toys, you know, for your niece's nephew's dog, whatever.
You should like set your first child up
Oh,
for the biggest disappointment. Like get them really into Star Wars, right? It's like, oh my gosh, you are gonna love Star Wars. They can watch the movies. You get all of Dad's Star Wars stuff.
Open them all up, guys.
Open it up,
you can
and
open
it's
them
just
up.
a Boss Nass cup topper.
Yeah.
And like,
I have every cup topper.
an empty can of Obi-Wan Mountain Dew, and it's just like, you are gonna love Star Wars, buddy. Meanwhile,
Back
it's
in
like,
my day.
you're like putting your vintage Millennium Falcon up on the top of it. So, were you like your whole life a Star Wars? Because I had a moment where I kind of dipped out when I just got too punk for Star Wars. Has Star Wars always been like a huge part of your life?
Oh yeah, I mean even when I went through my edgy phase, Star Wars wasn't cool at that exact time because the prequels had just wrapped and everybody hated it, and I was like, that's where I'm gonna
Still
go.
like it. I'm
gonna
go there.
Yeah, I'm gonna wear all my grunge shit, and then I'm gonna put some Star Wars under it. Put an Anakin T-shirt right under it with the Phantom Menace Anakin. So.
Oh
right
yeah.
there.
Well,
That was my fandom. Very edgy.
Now, I have a question for you because our previous awesome announcer, Ash Crossan, on our show talked about how, and she talks about it on Twitter quite a bit, how because she's a female Star Wars fan, guys are constantly like testing her knowledge to see if she's a real Star Wars fan just because she's a girl. Do you get that a lot? Do you get that a lot?
Oh yeah, like it just happens. You know, it's not so heavy anymore. But when you walk into a new comic shop, not this one, a shop called Quest.
Boom.
This is only a place with this much reclaimed wood can be this inclusive.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, you walk into new places, you get into new groups of friends, and they're like, oh, well, do you know this, and that? And I'm like, Mark Hamill yelled my name on Twitter once, so yes, I know about Star Wars.
Well,
That's my claim to fame, is he just yelled at me on Twitter. So.
well,
That's it.
we don't underestimate your Star Wars fandom. So let's get to know your fandom.
We want to know your fandom.
We want to know your fandom.
Before we
So-
start, though, can I just ask how is that? Does that say Lando a Star?
What have you done to my ship story?
So we want to get to know you as a fan. So we're gonna do our really lame inside the actor studio Star Wars questionnaire, and these don't need to be one-word answers.
So original, guys.
We can break it down. You can get real sweaty. This is all you, all your time. So Steve, hit her with the first question.
All right.
What's your favorite Star Wars movie?
Without a doubt, Return of the Jedi is my favorite. I love joy. I really love joy. And there's like 5 minutes of joy right at the end of that movie. And
Hell yeah.
It's so good. It's so good.
Are you a yub nubber or
Oh.
a the prequel celebrationer?
You
Steel
know,
Wars is
I-
right back there. So there's really only one answer to this question.
You know what? I think there's another answer. It's never gonna get me on his show. I technically, Jedi Rocks is kind of a guilty pleasure of mine. So there we go. I'm gone.
buddy. That's it. No, okay, it's okay. Everyone is entitled to their Star Wars opinion. What
Right.
is it about Jedi Rocks that you love?
I really love the loud yelling.
D-Day!
Yeah, all of that. And then Max Rebo gets a spotlight, and I'm just like, it's just a wonderful sequence to me.
You don't
'cause
think
it's
it
like,
cuts the
You know.
tension of Jabba's palace at all?
You walk into Jabba's palace, and you look at Jabba, and it's just like, how serious is this? And it's not serious until you get dropped into the Rancor pit. So, that's just...
I will take
I'm the
that.
least popular
I will
guest
take
on the
that.
show.
No. Right? What do we feel about Jedi Rocks? Yay! They tried. They did their best.
It's okay.
They tried.
I agree.
We're all fans here. We all love these movies, so we're going to ask this question from an angle of love. What is your least favorite Star Wars movie?
I'm going to be even more unpopular with George now, but I just don't like Attack of the Clones.
We could agree with that.
We can agree.
It's just...
That's okay.
The,
It's okay
the
if you all
idea
love it.
of it is good. I'm sure that the one-pager was really great for that movie.
And which is all I did.
So,
Perfect.
so you may not be very close in George's heart right now, but you are one step closer to being close to Alex's heart. You just have to get one more question later on right
To get it right.
to get it right.
Who's your favorite Star Wars character?
My immediate go-to is Hera Syndulla because she seems to be the only one who has her life together. So I appreciate that about her. But on the flip side, I really like Chopper a lot.
I think you're our first Rebels answer.
Yeah, I love Rebels. I
That's
adore
awesome.
Rebels. I think it's a great show. It's a wonderful show. Do not miss the finale.
She's seen the finale, but we're not going to spoil it. Don't worry. Don't worry.
What finale?
Our
What
invite
finale?
got lost in the mail.
What is it about Rebels that makes you love it so much?
I'm a really big lore hound, and Rebels is kind of deceptive because you look at it and you're like, oh, this is a kid's show, and then you watch it and you're like, I'm crying about the Force. And so that's it. I think there's just a lot of wonderful lore, and there's a lot of room to play in ways you can't with the films.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well,
There's only one right answer to this
There's
next
only one
question.
right answer.
Hey.
Here we go. Who is your least favorite character?
It's not going to be the right answer, so I hope you
Sorry,
hold your
bud.
heart. I remember when this was written, it was like you said, which character do you hate? I don't hate anyone.
Now it's least favorite because
But-
people got mad on the internet.
Yeah, I can't stand Kit Fisto. I can't stand. He is always smiling. His Padawan dies, and he's like,
Well, his eyes look like 1990s like bug-eyed Oakleys.
I wrote down his name because I
Yeah.
was so angry, and I was like, I gotta remember that guy.
He's like a guy, you know when people you can tell have just always been brushing their teeth with whitening toothpaste? Like, even as a child, they were like, I gotta make sure I don't stain my teeth. I
Right.
want a beautiful smile. That's Kit Fisto. His whole life, he's just been like,
It's inappropriate. It's like my grandma just died. Oh, really?
In a deleted scene, he drinks coffee through a straw just to keep it all.
yeah. I know there was a brief moment in Revenge of the Sith, right, where he applied a whitening strip.
Yeah.
He was like,
Well, it was 45
like,
minutes.
kids are getting slaughtered out there, kid. Go help them. And
Too
he's like,
busy.
I can't. Getting fresh teeth.
I'm on day 27 of my Crest White strips.
Okay.
You gotta get that Fisto smile.
Product idea.
Besides white teeth, what turns you on about Star Wars?
Sexually? No, I mean, what
Sure.
there are a lot of things that we discuss on Twitter about things that turn me on sexually about Star
Ben
Wars,
Swallow?
but no.
Thank
No,
you.
That makes me
Thank you.
uncomfortable.
Thank you.
I remember I read the description for The Last Jedi's like adultish warnings and stuff, and it just really seemed like Kylo Ren was the one who wrote it because it's like it's a character appears shirtless, a female
Super
character
ripped.
is super ripped. A female character sees him and is impressed.
Yeah.
His
That's
nipples
right.
are perfectly glistening.
In
Ren
less-
can't even handle it.
30 to
His
60
pants are pulled
seconds
up
of
way
this.
too high. If you could have any job in the Star Wars universe, what would it be?
I have fallen in love with the Vulptexes, and I just feel like they might be very displaced after Crate, so I would run a Vulptex rescue. 'Cause they went through some hard stuff, and they
Both
helped.
Texas, they're like the crystal foxes. For
Yeah,
For
yeah.
our medium sweaties, for our just our glisteners that aren't quite there. Both Texas are the crystal foxes on crate.
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
I
that's a
love them.
beautiful answer. What job would you not want to have in the Star Wars universe?
I would not want any administrative role in the First Order, especially right now with like Kylo in charge. I don't think he knows how to write a paycheck at all, or so it would just be a lot more paperwork than need be.
And
He just like walks in without his shirt on, and he's like, "Did you do those reports I asked for?" It's like,
Are you
God-
impressed?
Yeah, it's like, God, ever since he had that mild fling with Ray, he's just like, he really can't get over how great he looks.
He has to learn some self-love too.
Yeah.
You know, it's better to balance.
This is a fun question.
If you're gonna have a lightsaber, what lightsaber color would you have?
Oh, gold, without a doubt.
Oh,
I
gold.
think
First
I
gold.
love it. I think it's been shown in Rebels, but the reason I want a gold lightsaber is because the most badass Force user of all time, Asajj Ventress, ends up using one. And yeah,
One fan?
Ventress.
One fan?
Yeah.
One
she knows
person?
more about the Force than anyone gives her credit for. Sorry, George. Was
No, you're doing great.
you too?
You are
George
just
totally agrees.
batting
Yeah.
1,000.
Ventress is amazing. She's incredible, and also she's very shiny and gold, and I can be like, look at me. So that's.
I'll take it.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
So, at O Katrina, you have your gold lightsaber. You've been battling with Darth Vader. You've had an epic battle. You're on the bridge in Cloud City. Bespin for my listeners, not my sweaties, right? Right? He cuts off your hand. Your gold lightsaber falls down the pit. You're swinging. You're hanging. He can say one thing to you besides, "I am your father." What is he saying?
Join us. We have fantastic health insurance.
Give it up for O Katrina!
Yeah!
Thank you so much. Thank you. Who wants to play a game? Bam. 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 Come on up, guys. Come on up, too. You can, yeah, come on up.
All right,
come on up.
guys, come on up. Go ahead and stand over here to the right of us, guys.
All right.
Go ahead and stand shoulder to shoulder.
So this is where it really starts to feel like a live show. We're going to set this game.
So we're gonna play Star Wars catchphrase.
It's unthinkable.
Great.
I'm gonna pretend like I know how this works, but really what it is we have this awesome catchphrase, Millennium Falcon.
Barnes & Noble.
Basically what's gonna happen is you're gonna push the center button and a word is gonna come up on the screen. Your job is to try and describe what is on the screen, and we have to guess it, but you can't say the word.
Okay.
Do you think you can handle that?
Okay, so it's kind of like charades, based like all these other games, right? So it's like all those other games. You have to get us to guess it. You can skip through until you find one that you like. If it buzzes on you, that means you're out. It's like musical chairs, okay? But don't worry, guys. This is a nice show. Everyone gets a prize, okay? Great. So I'm going to set this up. We'll do it on We'll do it on Apprentice for our listeners, okay? Not our full sweaties. I like Ash, I'm taking Glistener. I like that. I think you coined that on our show. I like it. Great. So, all you have to do is push go, right? And then once we get it, you hand it to our next person. They push next on the Millennium Falcon, and we just go back like this, okay? Great. All right, Steve and I are not looking. We're not cheating.
This is just gonna prove how I know nothing about Star Wars.
Okay. That's why I did this. Okay.
Okay, it's a big place in the sky. They meet
Death Star?
Lando there. No.
Bespin, Cloud City.
Yeah.
Great. So now push next.
Luke, Leia, Vader,
Skywalker.
Ben, and they are
Jedi's, Force users.
which is
Skywalker, Jedi's.
like one big happy
Family.
Hey!
Yeah.
Nice.
Obi-Wan.
So confused.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
You're my only hope.
Dang.
It's getting faster. Ah!
Good.
And the Emperor, Palpatine.
Give in to your
Hate. Anger.
Yoda is a
A Jedi.
900 years old or
the
something?
best one. Is
The Master. Jedi Master. Okay. Oh! Give him a round of applause!
Yay!
Don't worry, we have. They're all like, we all quit. Just give us the skateboards. But you have to do this for the sake of content. Have a seat, buddy. Great. All right. Okay, so let's start again. Where's our Falcon? Okay. All right. No, we don't want it on Jedi Master. We still want it on Apprentice. Okay.
Can I get Padawan?
Whenever we're ready, and go.
Oh shit! Can I go? I can do next.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. It's a person you send to kill somebody else.
Assassin?
Yeah.
I like that. Very general Star Wars term.
the either what a Jedi wears or Sith
Robes?
wears. Another name
Cloak?
for it. Yes.
Cloak? Oh. Good one. Buddy, you did it.
I know Star Wars, everybody. I know
Slave
Star
girls,
Wars.
slave girls, slaves,
Slave Leia?
dancing,
Oh, Jabba's slave girl.
bondage,
I don't know her name.
Nice.
Oh, is it her name or is it Twilight, the girl?
something you wear,
Bikini.
Bikini?
something.
Gold
Bikini girl?
bikini?
You can dance with them. You can tie someone up with them.
Whoa. What was it?
Chains.
All right.
I know Star Wars.
Yeah.
I know Star Wars.
The
Steve.
Nice.
Jawas drive this.
Sandcrawler. Give him a round of applause, everybody. All right.
Here we
Last
go,
one.
guys.
And it's not just a skate deck for the winner.
No, it's not.
I'll figure it out later what it is. I didn't get enough skate decks made for this game. I didn't think this out. All right, whenever you're ready.
Okay, it's like the good guys, the masters are sitting around talking.
Jedi Council.
It's a trap.
Admiral Akbar.
Surprise. Bang, you're dead.
Pew pew.
Pew.
A lot of people surrounding you. Surprise, attack.
It's an invasion.
Invasion. It's a space battle.
I jump out of the bushes and
Scared you?
Scared you?
Startled you?
a bunch of guys surrounding you. It's
Boom.
It's a trick. Ambush.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you guys are arguing, talking back and forth.
Oh,
Bickering.
Bickering.
Banter.
No, it's like a team of people.
Thank you so much, brother. That is for you. Before you leave, we will give you that one that's right up there on that stage. Cool. Awesome. Give them a round of
Give them a round of
applause.
applause, everybody.
What was the last one? Debate. Very general terms. They just put the normal catchphrase answers, and they were like, put that shit in a Millennium Falcon case. Star Wars fans will go fucking bananas for that shit. Peanut butter. It's the same color as Jabba. You put it on a sandwich with jelly.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah?
I brought another little tidbit for you. If
Did
like
you?
it. Yeah.
Surprise.
I brought a sneak peek.
What is it?
Oh.
Would you like to see it?
Yeah.
On the monitor right next to you?
Sure.
It's a hot new George Lucas joint. I think you're really
All
going to
right,
like it.
let's check it out,
Drop
George.
it, George.
A romance with a girl named Beverly.
He's my boyfriend!
Radical. And an adventure beyond the imagination of the average duck.
The duck's a lunatic!
George Lucas presents Howard the Duck, a Will and Hike film, a Gloria Katz production.
Starts Friday at a theater near you.
Surprise re-release, Howard the Duck, this Friday.
At the New Beverly?
Howard the Duck 2, 2020.
Oh, okay. 2049?
Dropping it here.
Yeah.
You're all going to love it. It's going to be terrible.
Thank you so much, George, for your new. You guys got a good little sneak peek into the great stuff that's coming. Before we bring on our next guest, we thought we would watch, because we all love Star Wars, why don't we watch something a little fun together? George, roll it.
I pull it out!
Until he discovers just who he really is.
Oh, no.
A duck in big trouble.
That's a duck, man!
Howard the Duck, trapped in a world he...
Ladies and gentlemen, the voice of old Han Solo from Forces of Destiny. Give it up for Kif VandenHeuvel! All right. Oh my gosh, what's up, buddy?
Listen, I brought you a little something that's of my crew.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, thank you.
This is so sweaty.
They're incredibly hard to find. Once Han Solo got killed and The Last Jedi came out, you cannot find anything with Han Solo on it.
Boo.
I know. Until we'll get younger. Anyway.
So Kif and I go way back. We've met at the Second City. I've done some shows with you and your lovely wife. So thank you so much for being here, buddy.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you guys for being here.
You guys may or may not know this too. Steve and I both met at Second City. So a lot of this show has sort of been born out of the improv and sketch comedy community in Los Angeles. I actually met George Lucas at Second City too.
Yeah. I was going to buy it and bulldoze it to the ground.
Yeah, he's going to turn it into a museum.
Yeah, the George Lucas Museum, coming soon to the place where the person who last pissed me off's house used to sit.
So, Kif.
Well, that's actually where I met Harrison Ford. Oh, Harrison Ford, did I ever tell you that story?
No.
So I was directing a show at Second City, and Harrison Ford's goddaughter was in it, and he came to see the show. And then afterwards, we talked briefly, You know, because like, what do you say to Harrison Ford after like everything you've done means everything to me? And, like, but you know, I said it's wonderful working with Joni and stuff, and then we were downstairs. They ghosted, and then we get a phone call from Joan. It's like, where are you guys? We're over at Bordner's. So we go over to Bordner's, and Harrison sees us walk in and goes, there they are. Let's get these tables moved together.
How
what
did
are we
I
ordering?
miss this?
Oh, dude.
What the fuck?
How did I miss
hours.
this? Like, I literally spent like 8 years at Borden.
Yeah, that particular Monday you missed.
Oh.
It was like a small party, and Harrison Ford hung out with us all night and talked about acting and carpentry, and
You
it
were
was
eating.
amazing.
You were
Anyway.
eating sad mac and cheese in your
right.
your booth.
It's true.
Your Bordner's booth.
With pot stickers.
So, Kif, obviously, right, we all get into this creative industry with a desire to be a part of franchises that we really love.
Yeah.
Let's be real. You get a call from your agent that you booked old Han Solo in a Star Wars property. How does that feel?
I got that call. That call was an unbelievable call.
Yeah.
I mean, as a voice actor, you get to audition for so many different things. You never know what you're going to end up booking. You know, you just doing it for most things is enough. Like you audition for Batman or for Han or for any of these characters, it's like, wow, for that moment I get to be that. And that almost kind of has to be enough. So this audition came, and it just said Lucasfilm property, James. It was all code names. 60-year-old smuggler, former hero of the rebellion.
Got it.
And then the clip was, you know, it didn't say what it was for, but the clip was like a YouTube video to a link of him doing the whole, you know, it's real scene. So I knew what it was. I recorded it in my closet, like, I don't know, for 3 hours, just trying to get it right. It was 5 lines. And I sent it in, and about 2 weeks go by, and the phone call, we're picking up a kid from school, not ours, but a friend. And we're just picking up kids. That's what we do. Santa Monica.
Weird twist.
Shit
Weird
goes down on the
twist.
405 you guys do not want to know about. Oh, we're picking up Captain, and the phone rings from the agency, and you know, we're in the schoolyard, so I kind of just let it go to voicemail. And then it rings again, which it never does. And I was like, I better answer
another
this.
deodorant commercial.
And it's my agent, Pat Brady, and she says, hey, you get to say something that very, very few other people get to say. And I was like, what's that? She says, I'm the pilot of the Millennium Falcon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you get chills?
I got chills.
I
got chills and sweat at the same time.
Did you get a little bit of a nerd like boink?
Sorry,
Scale of 1
Patty.
to 10. Sorry, Patty. Oh man, but you've been a part of a lot of properties that are featured fairly predominantly in this shop.
Yeah, I got to do some work. I was in Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. I played Officer Mazzucchelli.
Oh,
you're gonna hate on that movie.
nice.
The movie's brilliant.
Have some
I'm sorry.
respect.
I think the movie's fantastic. So that's me. But I also got to do. I voice matched Ben Affleck in Justice League.
Oh, cool.
Did a fair amount of Batman work. So
Did you get to say I'm Batman?
No, I got to say
Rock.
run.
Which is close.
Which was close.
You were like, they're like, just lay down a clean run. Run, I'm Batman. No. We just need a clean run.
Stop saying you're Batman.
Run, I'm Batman.
You did that in 1989.
It's like fine, no sweat. I got it.
You got it.
I'm Batman.
No problem.
Run.
Batman, by the way.
It's like, this is not the Lego Batman movie. Stop saying you're Batman.
It's like trying so hard to be Batman.
I played Comstock and BioShock Infinite for any video gamers.
See? Now you're cheering, you're sweating.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, go ahead and hate on Batman versus Superman. I'm still getting checks for that. But I actually got to be a part of the Star Wars universe before this with a video game called Star Wars: The Old Republic, where
Now you got him. Hook, line, and sinker, bro.
For all of them.
If you did the smuggler track, I played Skavik, so I stole your ship and then taunted you through. It was fun, and a couple other things. So anyway, that's
Is there? I mean, because you're a fan too. I know you.
100%.
You're like. I see you at conventions. I see you walking around. Your daughter cosplays.
Yeah.
Your wife cosplays. You cosplay. I mean, when you enter a universe that you have such a great amount of respect for,
Yeah.
what type of pressure do you put on yourself?
You know, I do a lot of voice matching, so which means I'm an impressionist, so I have to match different people. And this comes back to the Harrison Ford conversation. We were at Bordner's, and he asked me, you know, what do you do over at Second City? And I was like, I teach voiceover. And he said, I wish someone would teach a class about what to do when you get on set. I was like, okay, well, Mr. Set, what's your curriculum? And he took a bite of a chicken skewer and went, I don't know. And about 20 minutes later, he leaned across the table and he said, here's the thing. No one understands that this is a service.
My plane.
Yeah, get off my plane. Get off my... But he said, this is a service industry. And everyone gets on set, thinks it's about them, and it's not. Our job is to serve the story. Everybody on that set is in service of telling the story. And that's who we are beholden to. Come back to playing Han Solo. My job in that cartoon, it was there, my job was not to get to be Harrison, it was to tell the story. And to honor what he had established and what Aaron is about to continue and what AJ did as young Han Solo and our responsibility to the people who love this stuff and personally too, to be able to continue to keep the mythology going and to align with what's been established.
It's interesting too that you bring that up, right? Because we were all expecting Han Solo very soon, right? And there's a lot of sort of trepidation with the idea of this movie. It's like, is this kid going to be able to be Harrison Ford? We've gotten so many comments that's like, doesn't look anything like him. And I'm like, well, nobody else is Harrison Ford.
Yeah, so what? We can't, like, I don't want to hate on Jon Stewart because he's different from Hal Jordan. You know, Green Lantern's Green Lantern. And we get caught up about the issues with canon and all that other stuff. I don't want to turn into a fundamentalist Bible beater about how to interpret stuff. You know what I mean? I think that there's room and there's styles. It's kind of like I've had this conversation with too many people about Batman versus Superman and Zack Snyder's vision versus Joss Whedon's vision versus fucking 1966 Batman versus how many different versions, how many different drawers, pencilers, sorry. How many different people have expressed different opinions of what Batman's about and how tall his points are. You know, all these other things. So I feel like Star Wars is young. It's so young and it's so been controlled by one guy. And like even with Force Awakens, it was so beholden to the original.
JJ, yeah.
Yeah. And what Ryan did, and I'm not a gigantic fan of the Last Jedi, but what I appreciate about it is he made it his own. And that's what we're invited to do as artists, right? It's like to take the things that we love and are inspired by and put our own spin on them. I mean, fuck, look at these pop figures. No one's twisted up about pop figures.
Sorry,
I don't fucks with the Funko.
We don't fucks with Funko.
We're the Black Series Rebels, homie.
Sorry,
all
buddy.
right,
Just kidding.
You feel me, though? Like, it's an interpretation of different things, and there's room for all of them.
Just been smashing pops for like.
Oh, have you really?
No.
I'm sorry.
We just don't have room for them, and look at they're like filling this shop.
I know. Well, now they've gotten out of control. Now they're porgs without cooking them over a campfire.
Whoa.
It's okay. It's not going to happen.
We
have your
Queen
back.
of Pork Nation is here. Come on, show some respect.
I mean, Star Wars came to me. My dad took me out of school on my 8th birthday to go see it at the Woodland Movie Theater.
Ooh.
Yeah, and the first thing I saw of Star Wars was my buddy Jeff Van Wyck got a poster from Burger King that tells you how old Chewbacca was.
Yeah.
Chewbacca's a 200-year-old Wookiee, and this is a picture, and they had all the glasses. And the movie had run theatrically for a year before I saw it. Like, to think about that, it's a trip.
I'm just picturing young Kif with his Chewbacca Burger King poster with a little, like, I'm sure at the time the nuggets were crowns. And you're just like, looking at the Chewbacca poster, you're just like, badass.
Oh,
like,
man.
just like,
yeah, 100%.
That's
so awesome. And, I mean, I've said on numerous occasions, like, I've been playing Han Solo ever since I've been 7. They just finally paid me to do it, you know?
I love that.
Living the dream, buddy.
Should we ask him the questionnaire? We should
Let's ask you the questionnaire.
We're going to ask you the questionnaire.
So you've already kind of told us this. When did Star Wars first enter your life?
Yes, 1978. When I turned 8, my dad took me out of school.
The Chewbacca.
And Chewie in its context, but the full glory of it. Like I remember the one time I spoke during the movie was they were on Tatooine and R2's by himself and the Jawas are hiding, and I asked my dad, "Is this where Chewbacca shows up?" And he was like,
I remember when you said that.
Remember that when I said that?
I was there.
Why were you bugging? Why were you paying attention to a matinee in Grand Rapids, Michigan?
I've been following
at
you
2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday.
Since 1978, Kif.
Well, I'm glad I knew it. I knew it. I had a feeling. That's why I've been talking to you all those years when I'm driving around.
I heard every word.
George.
What is your favorite Star Wars movie?
Empire Strikes Back.
Bam.
Empire Strikes Back. And I'm not opposed to the modifications to it. I appreciate, you know, if you've got the tools to be able to do it.
All right.
You've got the tools, and you want to breathe a little bit of life into it and update this. Look, in Raiders of the Lost Ark, did anyone get upset when they took the glare out? When Indy fell,
Okay, I'm
there's
sorry.
the
Hold
Cobra,
on.
the glare?
There is a big difference between a glare
Yeah?
and the changes that were made in those movies, in the Star Wars movies.
They're
by the
both
way.
great.
It's a living thing. It's like Disneyland in a way. It's like I mean, nothing's gonna take away how sterile Bespin is to me from the first time I saw it, and then looking at it on the DVD. I bought the $300 CAV Laserdisc set when it came out. No, I couldn't afford it when it came out, but I saved and put away every penny so I could afford it and buy this tribute to my
CD record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's this tribute to my fandom and a book inside that like gave you a tour of the Lucasfilm archives.
Nice.
Like there was no access to this. There was none. The access that we got was through fucking Burger King. So like to have access now is such an exciting time to be, you know, alive and be a parent. So Empire Strikes Back.
All right.
Pre-edits, but yes.
What's your least favorite Star Wars film?
This is a safe space, right, audience?
I have to say, there's things I really, really love about it, but my least favorite is probably The Last Jedi.
What? Twist! That is a twist!
Look, there's a lot to like.
Hold on. How many times did you see it?
Eat it, Johnson. Continue.
There are things. Let me say this, because I say it with hesitation. There are things about that movie that have never been done in the Star Wars universe that I love. I love the exploration of the dark side. I love all that weird mirror shit that Rey is experiencing. I thought her journey was fascinating. Where, as an old school Star Wars person, as a Chewbacca and Han Solo Star Wars person, that was hard to really deal with. And I know there's a deleted scene of Luke feeling bad about it. But like, I felt like with a character of the magnitude of Han Solo to not be given, the movie doesn't have to be a requiem to it, but I felt like, where's Han? Pff, cut away, never deal with it again. And that's how I felt. And then Chewie basically being, go sleep outside, play with the birds. That was how it felt to me, you guys. Where's the Chewbacca of Empire Strikes Back with, I'm sorry, there's the possibility of living with R2, could be wrong from time to time. Doors close. Hits his head on the thing, and all this other shit, this emotion, this truth that they've given to this character, they stripped away and they made him a glorified sidekick dog. I was really bummed out by that. And I'm telling you, like, this was, it's deep. It's deep because he's original trilogy. Chewie may not be Batman, okay, but he's more than like Blue Beetle. Like, you know what I mean?
You know it, but you know what's canon? This whole time he's just been saying I'm Batman and Wookiee. This whole time has been.
I know you're Batman. Shut
like
up.
Chewie, just lay one down. I'm Batman.
But one of the things I was most looking forward to is like this internal struggle for this character. His whole thing is he has a life debt. The person who killed the person who's responsible for his life debt that he's beholden to is the son of who he has to have vengeance on. But we're never going to sort through those things if we're not given the time with that character. And I feel like Rey seemed cool with it. I don't know. It just, those aspects of the film, and I think there was something else that I really loved about Harrison Ford's influence on The Force Awakens and on all the Indiana Jones movies. Even the last one, which wasn't my favorite of them. I actually prefer Temple of Doom, but that's me. That's when I saw it. But like, it's got everything to do with what's the story. We're really trying to keep it simple and really boil it down, and I felt like it was going in a lot of directions.
All right.
There you go.
All
So that's
right,
my
all
opinion.
right.
What do you
I'm
think?
not gonna lie.
Nice.
But
All right.
I may disagree with you on it being the worst of the Star Wars.
I didn't
or-
say
or-
least
or
favorite.
Least favorite. Least
But
favorite.
I will-
Least favorite.
I'm gonna
Words
go-
matter in
I'm
this
gonna-
modern political climate.
That's right.
Well, I'm gonna go on record where I'll probably offend almost all of our guests. I will say that is probably hands down the best answer we have gotten to that question.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Even if we don't agree with you, because this is a civil society, we can talk. That is absolutely a justify. I didn't even think about that because I was so hung up in what my expectations were going into that movie, and it fulfilled a lot of the buttons that I wanted pushed. But hearing that makes perfect sense. I didn't even think about that.
I just feel like it's not Rogue One. I love Rogue One. Rogue One is a standalone. You're starting with this is the context, but we're telling an adjacent story. And I felt like The Last Jedi did that too, in a way where, aside from the jump-offs of the last moments or two, that there wasn't, I don't know. Well, I said what I said.
All right, all right.
It's on right.
Let's get positive. Let's get positive.
Let's get positive.
Who is your favorite Star Wars character?
Chewbacca.
All right, I love it. Can you do Chewie?
That's my Chew.
Who is your least favorite Star Wars character? The
I
answer is
think it's
Dexter
Bib
Jettster.
Fortuna.
Yeah.
Don't care for Bib Fortuna is too Nosferatu for me. I was never a fan. I mean, and just to amend, I did give a shout out to Asajj Ventress, who I think is one of the great characters of the Star Wars universe as well, as a close second. But Chewie goes back to when I was 8.
All right.
So Bib Fortuna is my
Bib
least
Fortuna.
favorite.
Le Jabba no Bada.
He's who I will tell. Skywalker.
He's got
Jedi.
He's got the opposite teeth problem as Kit Fisto.
Yes, he does.
You know what I mean?
He's Kit Fisto. Like he got caps, but they fell off.
Yeah.
So
He's like,
they've been all ground down.
he's been going to CVS like, do you have spiky teeth, white strips? They're like, no, we don't, Bib Fortuna.
He went to this Halloween party on the party bars, and he was like, I like this look. I'm gonna keep rocking it.
If he his side eye is like swinging those weird ear hair things he has. He's like, whatever.
If what turns you on about Star Wars?
The dirt and the grime and the history and it was the thing that made me buy that laser disc in CAV so you could freeze frame and study shots.
Nice.
And like, I'm not interested in a clean, shiny, nice looking. I like the fact that they refer to the carbon scoring. Well, you guys have seen a lot of action when he's talking to R2, and that the entire movie has that. And that when you see some of these supplementals about how like when you see the movie without the score and without the sweetening and the ADR, it looks like a train wreck. It's unbelievable. So the fact that what John Williams brought to it and the edit was brought to it and the brilliant stop motion and the spectacular weight of these practical models.
And the screenwriting.
Yeah.
About
but I
that.
mean,
You nailed it, George. You nailed it, buddy.
And like, I just think about all the crew and all the stunt people and all the visual effects artists and all these people who are working around one little thing, and we might dismiss the picture because that's bullshit. That would never happen. Yeah, you're probably right. That was a bad decision. But boy, visually,
Look
it
at
was
all these other
unbelievable.
amazing
That's
decisions.
right. That's
so
right.
your answer to what turns you on about Star Wars is Star Wars.
Yeah.
It was like the grime. And the VFX.
The dirt.
And the models.
All of
and
it.
the John Williams music.
And the screenwriting.
And the screenwriting.
If you could have any job in the Star Wars universe, what job would you want to have?
Oh, man. I'd be a smuggler.
A smuggler. I love that.
Dude.
What job would you not want?
I would not want to be responsible for tauntaun husbandry.
You don't want to breed them?
I don't want to have to try to. All right, well, we got 17 and 14, and they're not getting along. We got to try to figure out how this works, and we got to make more. That's a rough job. Plus, because you're on Hoth, you're stuck on Hoth trying to breed tauntauns. What a fucking miserable. What a gig.
Just
You
the
can do
glove.
better.
The glove. We all know the glove from the.
Just the glove. That's it. Just get two. Reach up.
It's like Imperial stormtroopers have entered the base, and the bad guy's like, "Fucking bastards." Like
now, of all
when do I get my transports?
The last guy off. We're not trying to save him. Well, we're never coming back to Hoth again.
We don't need tauntauns
We don't need any
anymore.
more tauntauns. We're not going to use tauntauns on a water planet.
Yeah.
They'll drown.
Oh, poor tauntauns.
Give so much more.
Wampa's just
I'll
gonna
see you in hell.
Yeah.
That's right.
You're already there, bud.
What color would your lightsaber be?
Oh, man. I think my lightsaber would... green, I think.
Ignite the green.
Yeah. I don't know why green, really. I just think it looks awesome. But more than likely, as a smuggler, I honestly don't think I'd be terribly force sensitive. I think more than likely, I'd default to a blaster. I'd probably, if I had force powers, I probably wouldn't carry a saber. It'd be more like push, that kind of stuff.
Naturally.
Yeah, naturally.
Just moving
use.
rocks.
Yeah,
Just
that's
moving
right.
rocks.
But if I could use a lightsaber style control with my blaster and aim my shot, that's kind of cool. Little Hawkeye, Bam! Fix my shot with my bolt.
You'd be like,
Bam!
everybody would hate you in the start. Like, oh, here comes Kif.
Great.
He's showing
Here comes
off.
Kif
Great.
showing up. Hey guys,
Great.
watch this. Bam! Ting! 180.
Too funny. All right, Kif. You are on the bridge in Bespin, Cloud City.
Okay.
Darth Vader has just cut off your hand. Your green lightsaber gun, Hawkeye mechanism thing, has just pew-pewed its way down the drain. And Darth Vader can say one thing to Kif, and Kif only, besides, I am your father. What's Darth Vader saying to you, buddy?
That's what you get.
I'll take it, buddy.
For Kif.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. I guess this is the part where we would awkwardly end our show.
This is the part where we'd awkwardly end our show. I would just like to say thank you so much to all of you guys.
Thank
for
you
coming
guys
out
so
here.
much for coming out. So, here's the beauty of this is, yeah, George?
Oh, is it over?
Not yet.
Oh.
1 second.
Okay.
One sec,
The
George.
beauty, the beauty of all this is that I can cut out this sappy stuff, but I can tell you that being a comic in Los Angeles is a very difficult thing. I've been doing it with my buddy who's playing George Lucas right now.
I never
And-
drop character.
Yeah, you never. He's like the Daniel Day-Lewis of obvious Star Wars bits.
Yeah.
Steve and I started this because it was becoming increasingly difficult to fill theaters in Los Angeles. And about a year ago, we came up with this idea of maybe taking some time and talking about the thing we love and maybe just recording the conversations we would have driving home from work or whatever. And the fact that we've filled this comic shop with people in less than a year is very, very touching to me, right?
What's that, buddy?
I said it's very touching to me. So thank you.
It really is. Like, you guys have no idea how much time Alex and I spent on our cell phones talking about this stuff, and my wife knows.
His wife does. My fiance does.
Sarah over here knows.
She's
and
like,
texting back
thank
and
God he
forth
doesn't
and-
fuck with those Funko Pops. Oh my God, my poor house.
And it really does mean the world to Alex and I, and we would not be able to pull any of this off if it was not for our awesome friends and the crew and everybody at Dark
Yeah,
Burn
give it up
Creative.
for our crew filming this. I'll do a couple of quick shout outs.
Don't forget, our awesome editor, Peter Vega.
Right back here, all of our guests, Ash for coming in, Troas, O Katrina, Alex Rubens, Kif VandenHeuvel. And right there, there's another guy right there sitting by Ash, Steel Wars. He was one of the very first people to even recognize us as even something worth noticing. So thank you.
There's this. Hey, Cisco, come here.
And this
A
is
lot of you
Francisco.
guys haven't really gotten to see him. You guys think that Black Series Rebels is 2 dudes. It's not.
It's
This
3.
guy's the guy behind the camera. This guy is Black Series Rebels.
So, let's get, because this is the closest I'll probably ever get to being a punk rock star. I'm so excited I get to say this. We have merch in the back. Give it up for Shop Called Quest for hosting this wonderful event.
Working with these guys has been rad. They put their blood, sweat, everything into this shop and their other 2 shops. Please support them. Buy some shit at the store.
Can I just say it's been an honor to be here tonight. It's been so much fun. I'm so glad that you all love this thing that I and I alone created.
Yes.
And we have a very special guest who recorded a video for the end of the show. And they're going to say, I have a little special thank you message just for you.
And right now, I would give anything to run my fingers through his feathers.
Thank you guys so much for coming out.
Everybody, for coming out.
We are the Black Series Rebels. I'm Alex Backus.
I'm Stephen Ellis.
And may the Force
be with you.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Black Series Rebels Live from a shop called Quest in downtown Los Angeles. If you're new to the show, be sure to hit subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment with your favorite moment.
And head on over to blackseriesrebels.com for more information.
May the Force be with you.